Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a brand new series called Trophy Hunting. This series will be centred around Newcastle United and centred around trying to get one of my Newcastle teams onto a podium. So far this season we've managed to hit second place in Division 1 Premier League, however the first place in Div 1 still evades us. So it is game week 67 on Sorare, so we're going to jump straight into the lineup building. So as you can see, it is a midweek. There is not many competitions open. We've just got Prem, Contender, U23, All-Star and Cap 250. We're going to be starting off with Premier League, where we have 3 classic teams available in D1, 2 and 3. 3 in season, with only this one outside of D3 in Division 2. We're going to start with the classic teams, which is the main strategy. Ignore the name. We're going to start with the Division 1 team. In nets, it's going to be Popey. In defence, obviously, Lewis Hall out for the season. The back 4 is likely to be Livramento, Trippier, Byrne and Shaw. I think it makes sense to go with Trippier here, as he has been the best defender historically for Newcastle. In midfield, Bruno's an easy choice. Up front, of course, it's Isaac with no Gordon, still suspended. And then in the extra position, we have a couple of options. This is my projected lineup for the midweek. I make these predictions on sidelines, so feel free to join the Discord if you want to see all of the Premier League predictions made by team experts. But yeah, as you can see, the options we have for the extra position, we've got players like Livramento, Byrne, Shaw, Tonali, Joe Linton, Murphy and Barnes. I think for this team, I think if we think Newcastle's going to do well and they're going to score goals, I think it kind of makes sense to either pick Murphy or Barnes, to be honest. As you can see here, Murphy's not been on the greatest of form recently. He can and has had a lot of decisives this season, but does struggle to push over the 70 range. So I think it makes sense to go with Barnes on this one. And we're going to captain Isaac. Moving on to the in-season team. Again, Pope and goals. We are going to filter by in-season, as our main player is a classic, so the rest need to be in-season. We have the option of Livramento, Shaw, Trippier and Byrne again. I think again it makes sense to go with Trippier. I sometimes do like to differentiate the lineups a bit to hedge against each other, but I think Trippier is just the pick. He's in great form. It's a great performance in the cup final, so yeah, I think it makes sense to go with him. Midfield, we don't have Bruno this time. We have Joe Linton, Murphy or Tonali. I think it makes sense to go with Murphy on this one. Obviously, Tonali is in good form with Italy. However, he does struggle to push over 60 for Newcastle, so it makes sense to go with Murphy and hopefully we score a few goals. Up front, this is what we save in the classic spot for. We do have another Isaac, which is really nice. And in the last position, we again have the options like Tonali, Byrne, Livramento, Shaw, Joe Linton, Barnes. And I think again we're going to go with Barnes. And we are again going to captain Isaac. Quick intermission. If you are new to Sorare and haven't yet signed up, now is the best time to do so. If you click the link in the description, you will get £50 or dollars of market credit once you buy 5 players from the auction house or instant buy. It helps yourself and it helps me, so thank you in advance if you do so. I've recently just picked up Pope. We had Dubravka, obviously. He's got dropped, so we now have Pope Limited. I've just picked up actually. So we still have a lot of... The reason I've picked Pope up is because we have just so many options just left that would have just been left, not even in training or anything, they would just been left and not used. So it kind of made sense just to pick up a Pope to put the likes of Livramento, Shaw, Byrne, Joe Linton, Tonali in that we weren't going to use. So I think in defence, I am saving this Livramento for another team for U23. So we're going to put him to the side for now. So we do have his limited option, which is still nice. And then we have the option to Byrne or Shaw. I think we're going to go Byrne, obviously on a massive high the past week or two, so it kind of makes sense just to go with him. In midfield, we have Tonali, Joe Linton. We even have someone like Elliot Anderson at limited, who is at home Man United. Obviously a really good game. Forest still flying high. Anderson, a former Newcastle player, so wouldn't feel too bad picking him. However, we are going to go for Tonali in this one. Up front, as you can see, there is a lack of in-season Newcastle options. So we are going to take the filter off. And you can now see the options of Joe Linton. We could have Callum Wilson coming off the bench. Obviously, no Gordon for this week, still suspended. I think it makes sense to go with Joe Linton here. And then the last pick will be in season. We have the option of Shaw, the limited Livramento, and that looks to be about it. I think because we're using Livramento in another team, we're going to go Shaw on this one. So yeah, this is kind of the spare parts of the Newcastle strategy. I think if we include this team, I think we cover every single position that we expect to start. Bar Livramento, who we're going to have in our team. So yeah, this is a secondary part of the strategy I like to use, where you just kind of hedge against the players you haven't picked, but you are still going to reap the benefits of a good performance from one of these. Obviously, only in limited, but you can still win that cash, which is nice. And I think we're going to captain Burn in this one and hope he can maybe get another goal or something like that. Like I did say, we're saving Livramento, and this is where we were saving him for U23. Obviously, this is a really, really small game week. It's mainly just Prem, a few bits of Argentina. I think that's about it, to be honest. There's really not much going on. So as you can see, even though we're in under 23, it's just all Premier League for me. We are going to pick Livramento here. Midfield, we have the option of Anderson, Caicedo or Baleba. Just makes sense to go with Caicedo on form for this one. Up front, we have Hudson-Odoi or João Pedro. I think we're going to go with Hudson-Odoi for this one. I really like the fixture against Man United. I think that is a tough fixture for Brighton against Villa, but I just really like the Man United fixture for Forest. And then the extra position, we're going to double down on that fixture, and we're going to pick Nico Williams. And we're going to back Hudson-Odoi for the decisive and captain him. As you can see, we still have quite a few bits left to pick from. We do have one last goalkeeper to use, which will be Henderson away at Southampton. Kind of makes sense just to partner with Mark Gahey. And then in midfield, we have a lot of the Newcastle options shown back up at Classic. We have Joe Linton still to use, Willock possibly still to use off the bench, Anderson, Murphy. I think we're going to go Murphy on this one. Back the Newcastle fixture again. Up front, the only real starting options are João Pedro or Lawson. And as much as I don't mind, I kind of prefer the Wolves fixture. I think we're going to go for João Pedro as he's the better option, I think. And then the extra position, I'm just going to back that Palace fixture again against Southampton and hope they can keep the clean sheet, as we're kind of riding on it. We do make up that Palace defensive stack of Henderson, Gahey and Munoz, and we're going to captain Gahey as he is proved to be really, really strong away from home, can get a decisive. So yeah, we're going to lock that in. And the last thing we need to do is just change the name of these teams over. So yeah, that's the rare teams we've got going out in Premier League. We've obviously got the limited in season 1, and we have the U23 rare team here, which is in D1, which is quite nice. But now I'm going to go over our previous results in the Premier League competition and show what we are aiming for the rest of the season. So we are going back all the way to game week 23. At home to Arsenal, Newcastle win 1-0. Lewis Hall, clearance off the line, Nick Pope clean sheets. Great goal scored by Isak, assisted by Gordon, who we captained. And then Bruno not quite hitting the AA. This was quite unexpected. Obviously, as you can see, we're in D2 here. We do manage to finish 7th. We do manage to pick up a tier 2. And that tier 2 was a Kanji, which was quite nice, which we managed to shift on at the time for about, I think, £40 or £50. We then moved to about a month later, as you can see, another what you call high profile game, a 3-3 draw against Liverpool. Obviously a negative DA for Pope, only picking up a 17. Lewis Hall not doing loads but getting decent AA whilst conceding 3 goals. 2 assists for Bruno, goal and assist for Isak, goal for Gordon. We actually captained the right player once again here in Gordon. We managed to pick up, even though we conceded 3 goals, a tier 4, which was nice. And that tier 4, unfortunately, was Matt Turner for Crystal Palace, which was nice to get the handcuff for Dean Henderson, but yeah, no big shakes about that one. We then moved to 10 days later. Newcastle at home at Leicester come out 4-0 winners. Dubravka now in, after Nick Pope's injury. Lewis Hall with the assist and the 100. I think this was one of his first big performances on that really good streak he had. Bruno getting a goal, Isak getting a goal and assist, and Gordon getting an assist as captain. And this was our second place finish in D1. As you can see, only 0.87 points to that first position. And you can see with our captain pick, we have left points on the table, not captaining Isak and Lewis Hall, which is really disappointing. We managed to pick up a Trent, which was nice. Also, a big bit of cash, which was really nice. We managed to move that Trent on for £370, which was really nice. So in total, about £500 reward just from this one team, which is really great. And this was, I think, the highlight of the season so far. We then just moved forward 1 week. This was the 20th to the 24th of December, right before Christmas. Newcastle away to Ipswich. As you can see, another clean sheet, a good performance by Hall. A 92 from Bruno with an assist. An Isak hat-trick, great performance, 97. And a 67 from Gordon with 1 assist. Once again, same old story. What proved to be really fruitful at the start of the season isn't quite working the same, where we're picking Gordon captain when we're getting it wrong. Left a lot of points on the table here. I think about 15 points we missed out just on captain. We do manage to pick up a tier 2. That tier 2 was Garnacho. I think we managed to shift him on for about 40 quid or so. However, you can see the in-season strategy now paying off. We have the Dubravka again, Hall, which is out the captain, Murphy coming in a bit of form with a goal and assist, Tonali picking up 50, and then having Gordon as the classic pick, managing to get a £20 return, which is nice. We then just have to move 3 days forward to find our next result, a 3-0 win at home to Aston Villa. What looked a tough game on fixture, we managed to dismantle Villa quite easily, as we normally do. Dubravka with the clean sheet, adding to Hall's good score. Bruno with a 60, Isak with the 72, and Gordon with the same. We managed to pick the right captain just about here. And managed to pick up a tier 4, which was nice. Our tier 4 was Sander Berge, and we managed to sell him for about a tenner, I think, £10-20, something like that. We then move forward about 2 weeks, opening January, with a 2-1 win against Spurs away from home. Reasonable performance from the defender and the keeper, even though they're not getting the clean sheet. Bruno with an assist and the 82. Isak captained with the goal. However, a really poor AA performance. Only 0.3 AA. BCM lost quite a bit of duels, got a yellow card. And Gordon with a goal as well, picking up a relatively low AA score. As you can see again, wrong captain choice, and we pull in a tier 4. A tier 4 was Buonanotte, which was a pretty poor reward, but it's a tier 4, so what can you expect? And we managed to move him on for a couple of quid, I think. Then a week and a half later, we are at home to Wolves in a 3-0 win. A massive performance from Dubravka with a 93. Reasonable performance by Hall. Bruno with an assist and a 94. Isak with 3 DAs and a 90. And then Gordon with a goal and a 76. Once again, we haven't learned from our previous mistakes. We captained Gordon, and it's cost us from getting into the T1s and possibly even the stars, I believe. We did pick up a T2 finishing 6th, and that was Anthony Robinson, which we managed to get a few quid for. I think it was about 50 or something like that, which was quite nice. But yeah, I feel like we missed out on this one big time. And that is us up to date. Obviously, that was the 14th to the 17th of Jan. It is now, at time recording, the 1st of April. So yeah, quite a long time without a reward. Obviously, we've been about a month since Newcastle seem to have played a Premier League game. However, it's still a long time before we have got into the prize, which is disappointing. Hopefully, we can start to turn that around soon with this upcoming midweek and kick on for the rest of the season. As you can see, these are the remaining fixtures for Newcastle. Home to Brentford this midweek, away to Leicester at the weekend, at home at Man United the weekend after, at home at Palace in the midweek. These set of 4 games are ones I'm really targeting, where 3 out of 4 of them at home. Leicester, Man United, both really poor at the moment. We've got to be capitalising on these big time. We can't be making any silly mistakes. We need to be picking up the rewards. And then followed by that, Villa at the weekend after Palace. Following week, Ipswich at home, massive game. Brighton away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, and then finish the season at home to Everton, which is a big game that we should be capitalising on. So yeah, that is the strategy. These are the teams that are going to be running out this weekend. I'm quite hopeful for a lot of these. As long as we keep the clean sheet, grab 2 or 3 goals, this could be a big weekend, hopefully. So yeah, that's everything. Wish us luck in the midweek, and hopefully we might catch you at the weekend for our awards video. I'll see you in the next one.